Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Friday, June the 17th. And as always on Fridays, I'm joined by Mr. Chip Chirimbes of chipwins.com. We'll get to him in just a second, folks. But if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. Top-notch handicappers, winning free picks, great season coming ahead in football as well. But we got a couple months of baseball that we're going to be focusing in on, Chip. And how are you, buddy?
I'm great. This is considered the grind, what we do now. Pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, and in our mind, in the back of our head, at least we're preparing for football, seeing what's going on. But still, baseball has been very profitable for us both over the years. And I'm looking forward to making where I can really just concentrate on one sport right now. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we were talking off air, and I think it's worth mentioning. I just don't recall how improportionate the big chalks have been on a daily basis compared to reasonably sized favorites in Major League Baseball. And it makes it awful difficult for someone like yourself, I mean, who's not a totals player like I am, doesn't like to really dabble in too much on the run lines, to my knowledge anyway. Yeah. So it almost cuts the size of the board down in half or more on a daily basis if you're one of those guys that are just looking for reasonably sized chalks or underdogs with value.
Rusty, I've made adjustments here because I am starting to post games because the lines are so high. I am starting to post a few run line games and even a total. I had a total the other day and I'm looking forward to it. The problem that I've had with the totals is if you're looking to play, your starter is going to go how long? I mean, Dave, if you got Cash out there, Kevin Cash being your manager, he may go an inning. And, when betting totals, if I'm going to go under particularly, you want your starter to go 7 innings, unless you're the Yankees, of course, will have that kind of a bullpen. But I don't mean to be facetious about it. It's just, I think that the lines and the odds and the way things have changed in recent years, the strikeouts, the walks, the shifts, the home runs, it's become more challenging. I think that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the Yankees bullpen, just been totally phenomenal. This thing about Aroldis Chapman and in the conversations that have been taking place.
He's their weak link.
Yeah. On the broadcast. Yeah, that's okay. On the broadcast on that I've been watching the Yankees on, and also in the media on, is Chapman going to remain the closer? And Boone sort of dances around that question and answers it in 16 different ways on 16 different days. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, this Clay Holmes, he has only earned a run he's given up all season long was in their opener, their season opener. He's going into last night, and he pitched a scoreless ninth last night and got another save. But going into last night, Chipper, he had an 0.29 ERA, which is going to be even lower than that for the season. I mean, 10 for now, he's 11 for 11 on saves. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're pretty deep in the staff. I mean, they may have some holes in the lineup here and there with people making contact, but right now I don't know how anybody can keep up this pace, but their pitching has been really cool. They went from, how I felt about their pitching situation with the catching last year. They now have the best ERA in baseball, second in Major League Baseball after being in the doldrums for years. And I think it has to do with their catching, and their staff is just really well balanced. It really is.
Yeah. What a pleasant surprise Alex Trevino has been. I mean, Higashioshi, I hope I pronounced that right. Finally hit his first home run of the year. Now he's up to 3. He's getting hot. Trevino surprise offensively. I mean, I think he's hitting somewhere close to 300 and has hit 5 home runs and 18 RBIs in a part-time role.
Like we have said before, the Yankees' biggest problem was they needed someone that could catch the ball behind the plate, catch and throw it at shortstop, and a center fielder that could put the ball in play when he was at bat. So I think they've alleviated all those issues. And this year, I mean, they're really coming together after a really bad season last year, though they made the playoffs or a 1-game playoff loss to the Red Sox. I think they were pretty disgruntled here in New York about what way they played last year.
Yeah, I like the changes they made. I like the fact that they're trusting more of these young kids in the bullpen, and it's paying dividends, and they're rewarding them for doing that. I met Michael Kay mentioned on the broadcast last night that the Red Sox were 18-7 over their last 25 games going into yesterday. They won again yesterday, which makes them 19-7 in the last 26, which is the best record in baseball during that period of time. Yet they've only gained a half a game on the Yankees. So it's quite possible that we're going to see 4 playoff teams out of the AL East. I mean, right now, if the season were to end today, 3 of them are in, and Boston's barely out. Cleveland is ahead of them, and by a game.
I thought you were rooting for the Orioles.
Well, the Orioles. Hey, the Orioles aren't as bad.
Frank Robinson has passed. They're not as bad as they have been in the.
That's where I was going with that, smart ass. Anyway, Frank Robinson and Boog Powell are gone. Anyway, so anything else you want to touch upon, Chip, that comes to your mind in the world of sports?
The other thing I'm thinking about it is New York has the 2 biggest home run hitters and RBI guys, and Alonso, and this Judge is playing MVP season with his contract year. This is why I should give people 1-year contracts. Why give them 10 years and let them walk through 8 and then all of a sudden have a big year again? Anyway, it's great for the Yankees. I think it's good for baseball, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. And I plan to make a stop at Yankee Stadium this summer as well. So I'll let you know about that.
On your way back to Connecticut, right? You're going to see your mom over the summer. Yeah, and the Mets, not too bad either. They came back from a 4-1 deficit last night to win 5-4 over a pretty good Milwaukee team, although the Brewers are struggling of late. But the New York City metropolitan area is abuzz. And then you go a little ways further in Pennsylvania, those Philadelphia Phillies are playing good ball. So, a lot to be excited about in baseball, albeit it's one of those years where it's really top heavy.
Other than their pitching, I'm really not enamored with this Brewer team at all. I mean, this Hatter coming out of the bullpen was outrageous, if I pronounce his name correctly. And you have Burns and but their lineup is really weak, Ross. And, Yelich, who's always been their mainstays, hitting 238, 242, 6 home runs, just really non-productive numbers down that whole lineup. So I'm not key on the Brewers here at all. I do like the Cardinals lineup, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, the Brewers, since Yelich signed that big contract after he had that monster year where he was the MVP in the National League, hit like 53 home runs or so, he's not been the same since. Now, part of that is he hasn't been healthy. He did hit a home run last night, his 7th of the year, which is a bit of encouragement for Milwaukee, because if they're going to be considered a serious contender, which you can't, I mean, if they start hitting, it would help immensely because they had the pitching.
Yelich has started to hit. He's got 242, I think, after last night's game. And he was down around 200. He was below the Mendoza number for a while. So he's starting to put the bat on the ball. But, I don't think I've seen a worse defensive team than the Tampa Bay Rays. How do you like that? I mean, that team is absolutely horrible in the field. And, fundamentally, they've been sound for years, and year after year, we kept saying Tampa's a threat. I don't think they come close to shit.
I don't see it. We talked about that on yesterday's podcast with Doug Upstone. I don't know. Maybe, you have the core group of players still there from Tampa Bay, but I'm starting to think some of these guys had career years all together in that 2-year span, and they're really coming. If not, they've leveled off or regressed.
And they lost 2 games to the Yankees, Ross, when the Yankees scored unearned runs on outfield errors.
Right.
I mean, I don't even want to get into it right now.
The only team in baseball that's given up more unearned runs is the Chicago White Sox. Tampa Bay is second.
Not Philadelphia?
No, Philadelphia's not. I mean, it's Chicago White Sox have given up 46 unearned runs. Tampa Bay 45 as of yesterday. So
those old Dodgers pitching and defense, you got.
Well, they better. they're not hitting right now. So, which is mind boggling, but it happens. You know, we saw it with the Yankees early on where a lot of people are saying all pitching, no hitting. Well, they're starting to mix a little of both. You know, Milwaukee, and getting back to that, the only thing I will say on the Brewers, they have hit 80 home runs this year, which isn't bad. It's amongst the top 10 in baseball. Unfortunately, though, it's hit or miss with them, literally, because they depend way too much on the long ball. And, you know, you just can't win like that. I mean, the Yankees, yes, have hit over 100 home runs. At that pace, that's going to go a long way. Okay. But if you're a top around the 10 or 9 rank in home run hitting in Major League Baseball, you better be doing other things correctly as well. And, you know, it's a shame because they're hitting with that pitching staff. That pitching staff is a team that could win it all. You know, in terms of what they have in the starting rotation, but it is what it is. Let's get to our free picks, Chipper, and then we'll tell the folks how they could find us, how we've been doing of late. But the New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays, speaking of the Yankees, they'll be playing tomorrow afternoon, 4:07 p.m. Eastern time, I think, at Toronto, and Taillon against Manoah, a guy who has really owned the Yankees.
Well, you know, we're talking about big hitting teams, and the Yankees and Blue Jays are 2 of them. And the total has been hung on this at 8.5. And because Taillon, the Yankees starter, having a career year, though he's been very effective in the past as well. Maybe I'm overstating it, but he's 7-1 with a 2.93 ERA. You know, he's had 2 starts against the Blue Jays this year, and he's only allowed 3 runs. And for the Blue Jays, like you said, Alex Manoah on the mound. I mean, he was great last year. He's 8-1 right now with a 1.67 ERA, Ross. He allowed one hit in his last start. And I think Pitt, even though both these teams are powerful and they score a lot of runs, I think they're big swingers. And with both these pitchers on the mound, I can see these guys having trouble making contact. You know, the Yankees are 4-1 to the under in their last 5 on AstroTurf. There's some numbers here with the Blue Jays. Alex Manoah has given up 1 run and 7 Ks in 6 innings when he pitched against the Yankees, and they took him out, and the Yankees ended up winning that game 9-1. But the Blue Jays are 11-5 to the under when playing winning teams and teams are winning records. So I think with Manoah and Taillon out there, these 2 big, powerful teams are going to be having a lot of swings and misses. And though, you know, Manoah doesn't strike a lot of people out, he forces you to put the ball in play. It's just tough to make contact. And I think this game goes under the total.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chip. 8.5 with these 2 guys on the mound. Taillon, people forget, he was a number 1 draft choice at one point. He just never got it going in Pittsburgh, and he certainly has made his money and earned his money in New York since coming over to the Yankees. And Manoah, since coming up from the minors last year, it's almost like, why did they wait so long to bring this guy up? Because he's been nothing but dominant since coming up to the major leagues. It's like, what's the next challenge for this guy? So in 4 career starts versus the Yankees, an ERA of less than 2, the guy's been great. So good pick, Chip. I like this Yankees Toronto game under 8.5.
Let's hope I do better than what I did last week. That's for sure.
Well, it happens, Chipper. You know, I mean, again, people forget we went through a 6-week period here on this show where we hit over 65%. You didn't hear a lot of people talking then. Anyway, the Cleveland Guardians, I almost said Indians, the Guardians with Cal Quantrill will be making a start for Cleveland, and at the LA Dodgers with Julio Urias going for the LA Dodgers, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time start. Right now, the Dodgers are a 225 money line favorite, and the total in this game, 8.5. I mentioned before you brought up the Dodgers, and I said, geez, they're just not hitting of late. And it's indicative of their numbers here as the Dodgers have gone under the total, in 4 straight. They've only gone over the total in 2 of their last 12 games. Their last 5 games, they're only averaging 2 runs scored per game, Chipper. And what in their last 4, they've only allowed 1.4 runs per game. So if you're watching Dodgers games of late and you like offensive baseball, you're awfully bored. And the bullpen this year isn't as dominant as it once was in recent years, but it's still 3.39 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP as a staff. That'll get it done in a lot of games. And Cal Quantrill, always liked this guy. He flies under the radar because Cleveland's had some top-notch pitchers. Right now, Shane Bieber being one of them. His last 5 starts, a 2.78 ERA, a 1.11 WHIP. That's awfully good numbers. He's also pitched 6 or more innings in his last 9 starts, and 8 of those 9 starts have been quality variety. And what I mean by that, folks, if you're not familiar with the term quality starts, it's 6 or more innings pitched and 3 earned runs or less allowed. Qualifies for a quality start. The Cleveland bullpen, 2.70 ERA, a 25-6 strikeout to walk ratio over their last 7. I'm going to go under the total here, Chipper. I'm going to go again. We got some high scoring teams that were going under the total between both of us. Cleveland and the LA Dodgers under 8.5 for me.
Well, Ross, I like to comment on this. I was just discussing with some people this week about how top heavy the Dodger lineup is. And once you get past that 5th spot, it looks like they're having trouble scoring runs. And to boost your under here, they have the best frontline pitching staff in baseball right now, I believe. I mean, these starters go. Buehler just went on the shelf, but still, they've got arms out there. The kid from Las Vegas almost pitched a no-hitter. He's like 8-0, Anderson. And I just like their staff, and that's keeping everyone else from scoring. So maybe they only need to score 2-3 runs to win. Back to those Maury Wills and Junior Gilliam days.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
I had to get something retro in there.
You know what? I forget to mention here, Julio Urias is going on 5 days rest. And this season, when pitching on 5 or 6 days of rest, 7-0 to the under. So. Wow. Even more. Anyway, I'm on Cleveland and the Dodgers under 8.5, and Chipper is on the Yankees and Blue Jays game, which goes in the afternoon, 4:07 p.m. Eastern time. He likes the under 8.5 in that game. So 2 picks, 2 unders, both under 8.5 from 2 of the best in the industry. Sorry. If nobody wants to blow my horn, I'll blow mine, and I got to be careful how I word this. I will promote Chippers. How's that? Anyway, Chip, tell the folks how they could find you, and some of the streaks or good things have been happening of late.
Yeah, well, one of them that hasn't happened so well was closing the NBA season with 3 straight losses. Yep. Still reeling from that. But Major League Baseball on Saturdays, I usually post 3 games, but I sell my megabuck play, my A play, the single strongest play of the day alone at chipwins.com. It's only $39. Log on. Very, very simple. Follow the buy links and get Saturday's winner, because Saturday we have a plethora of selections, and we'll maneuver now. And you know what, Ross? I find that it's opening my world up now that I can look and see that we're doing totals, and you may catch one of those as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I can only speak for myself, but I think that you would concur on this is, now it's only baseball. Okay. So when we could focus just on one sport, because most of our seasons are comprised of handicapping 3 to 4 sports per day on the college or the pro level. And when we could just zero in on just Major League Baseball, good things happen normally. So keep an eye on Chip at chipwins.com. Also keep an eye on me at rbwins.com. Baseball's starting to heat up a bit. 4-0 the last 3 days, 7-2 since Saturday. My Major League Baseball 10-star top plays, which are my equivalent of Chipper's Megabucks plays, best bets. 5-1 this year. Haven't given out a lot of them, but hit 5 out of 6 since last year. 47-24. That's good for 66%. And folks, I don't give out big chalks. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's going to be reasonably sized favorites, totals, run lines, and a lot of money to be made. It's about return on investment in Major League Baseball. Some guys could hit 65%, right, Chip, and still barely break even. because they're giving out all big chalks. All my 10-star top plays since April 1st. How about 36 and 18? That's good for 67%. So a lot of good things happening. RBWins.com, where I guarantee all single game and multi-game packages. You don't win, you don't make a profit. I will credit your account the exact purchase price if you lose. So again, if you have $49 top play, if by chance that loses, which hasn't happened a lot over the last few months, I will credit your account to $49. You can use it any which way you like. Also, if you have not registered at my site, go to the homepage, rbwins.com, top left-hand corner, register tab, hit that, fill out the form, takes you all of 30 seconds, only have to do it once. And by doing so, I will give you a $100 sign-up bonus, which will go into your account, and you can use it any which way you like. And no, Chipper, you can't sign up, and I won't send you $100. Anyway, until the next time, for Chip Chirimbes and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Good luck and take care, folks.
Thank you, Ross.